Bill here. I'm with Dr. C, that is Dr. Cherubini, and today we're going to be discussing the longevity rate in America. The longevity of our population has decreased 10 points, 10 countries within the last few years.
2 years, yeah.
And I think that Dr. C can fill us in on this and let us know why he thinks this may be happening.
And thank you for that, Dr. Bill, as I call her on camera. The picture is to my right. But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning this again today is that a couple of years ago I did a little presentation like this one, and we were 43, which I thought was abysmal for a country that is supposedly as well off as we are, in some ways at least. In many ways, we have sort of lost our ranking as a democracy, I understand, and have become a police state, which might figure into our terrible, terrible rating of 53 from the top countries' longevity. And some of these are very significantly higher, 12, 13 years for some. Several small countries, 2 or 3 smaller countries, are up near the 90-year level, and that's, I think, averaging both men and women. Of course, women always tend to live a little longer under normal circumstances, but anyway, why would we have such a discrepancy here between our I mean, we spend more on medicine and hospitals and everything like this, and yet we're number 53 in the world, below many of the, well, they're rising maybe. I think some of them are still what would be termed the third world nations. And yet we're lagging even behind the third world nations. What is happening? What is going on? Some people I've broached the topic with have said, well, it must be our lifestyle. We just watch too much TV and eat too many burgers and pizzas. And I have to agree with that, part of it at least. It's not really healthy watching 7 or 8 hours of TV. Even watching 2 minutes of TV is more than I can handle. But how, and the food is another aspect that we really have to look at. Lack of exercise, food, and clean, good, pure water and air. What is happening in America to make us drop to 53? Another, some other people have said, well, it must be our, we have so many people coming in illegally, and they are just not, they're not healthy or something like that, and it's causing the overall picture to look dim. I don't think that's much of a factor either, to be honest. I think there is something else going on here. I
was going to interject here, the
Yes.
stress level that people are under. If we look at what has happened in our country in the last 17 years alone, it's been one stressor after another. 9/11 and this terrorist attack and that terrorist attack and on and on and on.
In reality, people are not dying a handful from terrorists since 2001. A handful. More people die of bee stings than Middle East than we have dying from terrorist attacks from Middle Easterners.
Right.
And they die from TVs at a much higher rate. Televisions falling on them, or lightning, or a shark bite, which is one of the rarest of any type of death, and so on. It's almost it's so small you can hardly factor it in. So
Well,
why would anyone be upset about
the terrorists, well, it's just building up, ramping up the anxiety that goes along with another possible terrorist attack or this mass murder or that mass murder or whatever, and it goes on and on and on. Now, what happens to one's body when they're in a constant state of fight or flight? This builds up within the body a heart attack waiting to happen, high blood pressure, which means a heart attack or a stroke waiting to happen. And if you look at the statistics on these, just those two items alone, you will find that perhaps we have increased the number of these things happening. Also, if we are under a constant state of stress, our bodies are not functioning at a normal level. Our organs are not functioning at a normal level, and therefore they're more apt to get some kind of disease or develop some kind of disease. So, there's that adds into this picture.
And there are, it's estimated, probably in the millions, at least hundreds of thousands that we pretty much know about, and the targeted programs that they have, these covert programs that put whistleblowers, dissenters, anyone that speaks out about much of anything might well be in a targeted program. And what I've noticed as a target myself is that every day there might be dozens or even hundreds of incidents of what we call perpetrators creating some kind of disturbance. And usually you, here it goes again, try to brush it aside as just more of their chipping away at you. But that's what it really is. They're chipping at your very heart and your brain, and everything is registering in your subconscious about this, and it doesn't forget. It's there, and it's really a horrible kind of thing, and I think we're doing that on many other levels as well. To get us down to a 53, there is something going on that is just totally unexplainable. Now, Japan, on the other hand, has been one of the top nations that we have to wonder how Japan can stay on top year after year after we have dropped 2 nuclear bombs on their urban areas. Nagasaki, Hiroshima, 2 nuclear bombs, which is going to affect things for many decades to come. We somehow they had a tsunami for some reason, maybe an earthquake that was in the Pacific, but anyway, even with the ramifications of this horrendous incident there where nuclear, their population has stayed well above, well, in the top several every year, year after year. And you have to wonder if they are somehow really concerned about their citizens and about, and so from what I've read, they lead a better quality of life. Mid 70s, they're still working, they're still getting around and doing things. Uh, what is the huge difference between the other 50 odd countries and us? Um, I just, I don't know that there's any good explanation. I have some ideas of my own, especially when we get projections from a company called Deagel, Deagel, that has projected that America will lose 81% of its population by 2025, I think it was. And we have to ask us, I don't know that I believe that too much, but they are somehow, well, some researchers said a CIA front for arms shipments or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure he knows exactly, but they do seem to be uh, uh, affiliated with our government purchases of weaponry, and they have a very sophisticated uh, 8 or 10 pages, I think, of looking at 180 countries and their projected uh, longevity or the population projection for year 2025. Most everything appears normal. Russia loses about 1% or 2%, China 1 or 2%. Uh, Most of it does look normal from where it is now, but well, there are maybe a dozen that stick out. United States being the most abnormal, a loss of 81%, our population going from 330 down to 60 million. That's not much for a country as expansive as this one. In fact, all of the English, made a mental note of this, all of the English speaking countries are losing quite a bit. Not 81% as projected for here, but something much, much greater than, say, Mexico or uh, Italy or somewhere like that. Uh, just a huge loss in the English speaking countries, and Germany was the other one. And it's also struck me that these are the countries that have had more than their share, especially the United States, probably more than the rest of the world put together for this targeted individual or uh, COINTELPRO type gang stalking. We are the world leaders, as we are in television sales and incarceration and military spending. All the all the worst things, it seems, we are #1. But on longevity, not even close. So I just,
One has to wonder.
pardon?
One has to wonder.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why, why on earth are we in this position? Um, I have a few ideas. Back in 1970, L. Fletcher Prouty published this book, wrote the book and published it, called The Secret Team, the CIA and its allies in control of the U.S. and the world. And I think before 1970, we might have been in much, much better shape. Well, say 1960, things started going downhill probably in 1963. Um, for this nation, very much downhill. We had an unexplainable war. Oh, they had some explanations, but nothing that I could see that was genuine. And now we're continuing the same kind of programs year after year, and it's stupefying that we can't do more for our nation. Whoever's controlling it, whether it's the CIA or the NSA, or it's definitely not the leaders that I would like to see controlling things, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there is a control that, but I think L. Fletcher Prouty, Colonel Prouty, knew what he was talking about. He was a briefing officer, 3 consecutive presidents and 9 consecutive years between the CIA and the chief executive officer of the United States. So he should know. But anyway, I just wanted to remind the general public of this unusual kind of thing in our lives, just one of many. And maybe we have to wonder if we're even 53, because if they are controlling things and we know that they have that they're sort of truth challenged on a lot of issues, especially concerning uh, torture and things like that. I saw you laughing when I said truth challenged, but that is the nicest way I can think of saying it. And anyway, that's all I'd better say at this point, and I thank you for assisting on this and the moral support there. Thank you.